something behind it all that most people don't recognize is it all starts with magic.
Let's start with a definition.
Okay.
What is magic? And we definitely see that it is the mainstay of the elite, and it's part of the program that is completely ignored, not realizing that many of the elite are members of secret societies that practice ancient magic rituals that have been passed down for thousands of years.
Humanity is starting to wake up to this concept that they have superpowers that we have been led to believe that are only in fairy tales, but they're actually really real. And they're being used against you every day. And so if you don't know the modus operandi of the sorcerers and the concepts of magic, then you'll be totally lost about what's happening in the world today. So a good definition, well, this one comes from Aleister Crowley, and he's not a personal favorite of mine, but he defined magic as the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with the will. So the will force is one of the most important concepts of magic. You can't work magic without it. It's what drives you, you know? And so by this definition, anything could be a magical act. Walking across the room, you use your imagination and your will to make a change in three-dimensional reality. Making an omelet could be considered a magical act. You know, you have your will and your imagination, a little bit of alchemy, and you have breakfast. But so we do this every day. Now we have a new definition. It's kind of updated, and it says magic is the science and art of causing change in consciousness to occur in conformity with the will, using means not currently understood by traditional Western science. So that means anything that you can imagine, anything you can symbolize, can be made to produce a change in consciousness and therefore change in your environment. Because if you change yourself, you're changing the world. If you change yourself, you're changing the world. If you change yourself, you're changing the world. If you change yourself, you're changing the world.
Very nice. Can you expand a little bit, like the difference between a sorcerer and a magician?
Well, not to just throw in the basic definition, but the idea between the magic and the magician and the sorcerer, one is that we are all magicians. And this is something that has been stomped upon by, religious fanaticism. Most of those that would study religion openly would see that magi or magicians visited Jesus on his birth. So the concept of using magic is actually a biblical tale. You look back to Moses fighting with the pharaonic magicians in Exodus as they do battles creating frogs and worms and floods and plagues. And these were the forms of magic used in the biblical lore. But on another level, we are all magicians in that we create our reality, we create the third dimension without realizing it, causing miracles and synchronicities to occur in your path.
This is just the first step of magic, is your imagination. And so this is what is up for grabs in the war for your mind, is your imagination and will. Magicians love humanity, and their efforts are for the benefit of everyone. And they have no ambition to impose their beliefs upon others, but they just aspire to, respectively learn from and teach those who have ears to hear. But then you have a sorcerer, who I defined as someone who, seeks to enforce changes in consciousness on a grand scale. And he attempts to master command over the laws of nature according to his own will. And his philosophy favors the desires of the few, pitted against the good of the many, and his obsession is the quest for private power. So, carried to this furthest extreme, the sorcerer's ambition is to wield supreme authority over the entire universe and to make himself a god.
Here's the crux of the problem, is that we've been separated from our very natural system. If you look at money destroys all synchronistic, miraculous events, because now you believe you deserve it. You have earned enough of these magical notes in order to deserve something. And so now there's no more miracles in your life, no more giving and receiving. and no more blessings from the great force of the universe, right? God or whatever. You are now solely in charge of your reality by collecting these magical notes. In the same way, we have been separated from the natural beauty. And as we have been separated from the beauty, we then start to generate what are called control dramas, which are methods of psychically sucking the energy out of other people. And this is the cause of all conflict in our planet. So now we have an understanding that we have trained ourselves as children to build up these control dramas that then we use later in life to suck the energy off of others. So you got people who will never shut up, or an intimidator, an interrogator who's sucking all your energy and doesn't let you get in a word, or those people that go to make sure that you can't get a word in edgewise, while they think of something else to say. And all these different methods, or being aloof, going off and hiding in your corner, making people come ask you what's wrong. This is another way of psychic vampirism. And if we were able to start to understand this and then regenerate the beauty in our lives and be able to see and gather energy from the beauty around us, then we could share that beauty and that energy easily with anyone that's lacking, and we would not suffer ourselves. And so part of this whole system is to remove us from all of that natural beauty and replace it with this aggressive type of, money worship, things of that nature. And the solution lies in us returning to the beauty, returning to gathering energy psychically from the love, animals, plants, everything around us, and then sharing that with the others, because there is only one cure to trauma-based mind control, and that is nurturing. That's it. Which is where we're at right now, where everybody feels that we are at the end and there is no time left to grow your garden, no time to go out and share with your friends, no time left at all. And we're stuck in the reptilian brain because that generates the fight or flight status. But if we could convince the world, and this is a very difficult thing to convince people of, that the universe is actually miraculous in its nature, and that your true divine purpose is always within you, and miracles, the universe will actually form itself around to make sure that the right thing happens to you if you allow it. And trying to convince people of the miraculous or the synchronistic reality of life is very difficult, because you won't believe it until you experience it. And until you even think about it and go out and try to experience it, it's never even reflected, just like magic, as a portion of your existence.
And as long as they keep us in fear and searching outside ourselves for everything, disconnected from nature, they've killed the mothers, the creative energy, creativity in general.
And nurturing and unconditional love. Now, nurturing, unconditional love, and forgiveness are the three things that they're scared of.
Do you think they even created a phrase to pervert it with nature versus nurture?
Yes.
Seem as if there's some kind of conflict between the two, when really they are. Nurture is natural.
Right.